We won't let the coronavirus stop us from supporting our beloved bars of silver. It may test us and postpone our work, but our dedication towards supporting this iconic species remains our #1 priority. We continue to put wild salmon first in everything that we do.
Hello, I'm Mark Bilsby. I'm the CEO of the Atlantic Salmon Trust. The purpose of this video is to share a flavour of our spring conference, which has been postponed until later this year due to the rapidly changing situation with regards to the coronavirus. We continue to stay committed to supporting salmon and sea trout, and in this video we will be sharing important updates and plans for our tracking projects and inform you of our solid commitment to protecting this iconic species.
"2019 marked an incredible milestone for the Atlantic Salmon Trust. We celebrate the success of year 1 of the MORAY FIRTH tracking project, where we identified that 50% of our tag smolts were missing in action from the freshwater environment. For year 2, we have an equally exciting plan to identify who, or indeed what, is responsible, and to advise further on how we can address the suspects. The key to this process is repeatability, so we can refine and focus on areas like predation and the use of environmental DNA or eDNA to further analyse the findings. We can in this way put forward strong evidence-based arguments to influence timely management actions. There is little or no information available about the distribution of salmon smolts as they head out to sea from rivers along the west coast of Scotland. We have very little information to inform planning decisions or to help support adaptive management approaches to mitigate risk and reduce pressures on our precious young salmon. The West Coast Tracking Project is a collaboration between Marine Scotland, Fisheries Management Scotland, the University of Glasgow and the Atlantic Salmon Trust. This exciting project is running alongside other key projects on the West Coast, where there is now more tracking taking place than ever before. And by tagging 800 smolts across 8 rivers, we will learn how these fish are moving out to sea and how best to address any possible risk they may encounter. This project will play a crucial role in identifying key migration routes so that we can ensure that risks are significantly reduced for our salmon smolts as they journey out into the ocean.
In recent years, we've heard a great deal about the drop in the number of adult salmon returning to the coast. We know a good deal about fluctuations in terms of the overall salmon abundance, but we know much less about the actual mechanisms and the contributing factors that are causing this decline. Previous work on marine fisheries in Europe has shown that it's possible to identify a mechanism that can place candidate mortality factors within an overall likely suspects framework, covering the full lives of fish like the salmon. Such an approach would help to quantify the potential of each pressure or mortality factor to influence salmon survival. It could go further and link these factors in such a way that they could explain the variations in survival of different year classes of salmon. This approach is our likely suspects framework, and it is at the heart of the Missing Salmon Alliance. This evidence-based framework approach has proven useful in helping to manage a decline in the cod stocks in the Irish Sea. Bringing this information together for the first time will be a major step forward for the salmon community, as it will help identify what is happening to salmon and will provide the necessary advice to help sustain salmon stocks so our future generations don't miss out on this iconic species.
Fundamental to this approach is using a wide range of technologies to track the migration and distribution patterns of salmon across the domains or zones through which they pass. Clever salmon population models, which are currently under development, can show how populations of salmon fluctuate, but they cannot explain the all-important why factor, which we so urgently need to get to grips with. The results from programs such as the MORAY FIRTH and the West Coast tracking projects will play a key role in providing precise information on discrete salmon populations across zones or domains in freshwater, in estuaries and along nearshore areas at the scale of local salmon populations.
Our aspiration is that both the East and West Coast tagging projects deliver sufficient evidence to influence government policy to help recover our salmon stocks. From our work on the East Coast, we'd like to change the government's approach to bird predation, for example. We hope the data will support a better balance between two protected species, delivered both through a more flexible bird scaring licensing regime and field trials of new management ideas. We envisage that the West Coast Tracking Project will deliver vital evidence about smolt migration routes, which will lead to future adaptations to a reformed finfish aquaculture regulatory system.
We need to act with urgency, and between now and December 2022, the Atlantic Salmon Trust will be delivering these steps. Provide an understanding to what is causing the fish to die in the freshwater and marine environments. Identifying the suspects. Determine which suspects we can realistically address. Work with policymakers to enable proactive management to take place. And provide fishery managers with the support and resources to enable delivery of effective management, focusing on the relevant suspects. It's important now more than ever to help salmon adapt in this rapidly changing world.
More information on this event will be shared later in the year. In the meantime, stay safe. Thank you for your patience and continued support in putting wild salmon first.